5, 4, 3.
Welcome back to Does My Bank Still Love Me? I'm Norm Newkirk. We're here today with Kevin Kim. Kevin is the founder and the owner of Short Sale Solutions, and we were talking about short sales. We've already gone over short sales in an earlier segment with Kevin, but now we're getting a little bit deeper into this. And the one thing that we ended up the last segment that I said we need to talk about is when you're looking for investors or investors are coming after a short sale, what to watch out for, because apparently there's a lot of pitfalls in that area. Would you mind elaborating for me?
Exactly. So a homeowner comes to the conclusion that they want to sell their property, they want to get rid of it, they want to walk away from it. That's fine. But the last thing that they want to do is to follow the advice of billboard advertisements, internet advertisements, solicitation letters, where investors will promise to buy their property in 7 days, to get rid of their property in 4 days, 3 days, 2 days. Those are false promises, and I'll tell you why. Short sales will not close for at least 3 to 6 months. What they mean by buying your house in 3 or 7 days is they want to get some sort of interest in your property, a legal interest in your property, so that what they actually want to do is they want to tie themselves to the property, then go out and, just like you would in a normal sale, find another buyer that they can sell to, and then do what a lot of real estate experts refer to as back-to-back or simultaneous closings, where you buy a property and you immediately sell it to another party. While that investment practice isn't illegal, and it's not inherently an unethical thing either, more often than not, a very unexperienced investor will ruin a homeowner's situation trying to implement that strategy. So let's kind of summarize it and make it very simple. When you run into an advertisement, when a homeowner runs into an advertisement where the investors are promising to buy their properties in 5 to 7 days, 6 days, don't fall for that, because a short sale typically sells between 3 or 6 months. It typically takes about 3 to 6 months to sell the property, so you don't want to believe that you can just walk away from your property that quickly. Moreover, you need to understand that investors are not working necessarily for your best interest, but they're working for their best interest, which is profits. And the biggest issue with that is that the profit is going to be at your expense. When you buy a property for $300,000, so suppose an investor buys a property from you at $300,000 and sells it for $400,000 to another buyer, okay? And the bank wants you to pay the $100,000. That profit that investor made is going to be at your expense. It's almost like you pulling out money to pay that investor's profits. So be very careful about that. I would say go to a third party. Make sure that whoever you're working with, a very good rule of thumb is whoever you're working with shouldn't be the buyer in the transaction. They should probably be third party, looking out for your best interests, representing you in the situation.
That's excellent, and I think we have to reiterate to everyone, do not try this on your own unless you know what you're doing. Is that the most important advice that
Absolutely.
we can give? Please do not do this unless you know what you're doing, you know who you're dealing with, and find someone reliable like Kevin who can see you through something that has a lot of moving parts and has a lot of pitfalls. There's two programs that I wanted to discuss very briefly. What's called HAFA, H-A-F-A, and what's called HAMP, H-A-M-P. And you'll hear those acronyms. Could you describe them for us so that we know what they are? Because I know they have something to do with short sales, right, and I know that they're vital in the sense that they may be programs right for certain people.
Right. I would say the best way, because it would take a very long time to describe what HAFA and HAMP does as far as the benefits to the homeowner. I think the best way for a homeowner to find out whether or not they qualify for those programs is to contact a consultant, is to take their financial situation and their picture and bring it to a consultant and say, okay, this is what I want to do. Is HAMP or HAFA, is there any benefit of those programs to me? Because the biggest issue is that even if there's programs like HAFA and HAMP, if it's not in the best interest of the homeowner to pursue, say, a short sale or a loan modification, it doesn't matter what those programs offer. It's not in their best interest. And so my bigger concern would be for that homeowner to get a customized plan from a consultant who knows their situation before going out and contacting their bank regarding HAFA or HAMP, because that's what ends up happening. The homeowners end up calling the bank inquiring about HAFA, inquiring about hemp, saying, do I qualify for this? Do I get any relocation fees? Do I, am I qualified for X, Y, Z? What's going to end up happening is they're going to tie themselves to a loss mitigator at the bank who is trained to try and get that person, that homeowner, to pay up on their default payments. So you don't want to work directly with a bank like that. You want to work directly with someone who's going to advocate on your behalf and going to represent you in that transaction. And so that's what I would recommend, because again, you know, those programs, while they have some benefits to the homeowner, it really depends on the homeowner's situation.
Okay.
Right, so.
I have a question about people who have a reasonable amount of equity in their home. Do they qualify for short sale, or can they qualify for a short sale if they just want out of the situation? Maybe they just want out of the situation. Maybe they anticipate troubled financial times ahead. If you have a certain amount of equity, can you qualify for a short sale?
If you had equity in your property, I would say try and sell the property and at least break even. I would say find a real estate professional who understands the game, who knows how to sit down and sell the property at market value. And from there, you know, if it doesn't sell on market value, then you just have to drop the price, and if it eventually becomes a short sale, it becomes a short sale. So yes, it is an option for homeowners, but they need to understand that it's very much worth their time to try and realize that equity, or to try and gain that equity in that property before going into a short sale, because a short sale does take 3 to 6 months, and it does damage your credit.
Excellent. Kevin, thank you so much for this invaluable aid, this invaluable advice on an area that I'm sure a lot of people are still wondering about, but hopefully after seeing this and listening to you, they'll have a little bit better idea what they're looking at as far as short sales. You have been watching Does My Bank Still Love Me? This is Norm Newkirk.